What's going on, everybody? This is Justin with Me, Myself, and Dice, a channel dedicated to solo board games. And if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. We do solo playthroughs of games and other board game related content. Today we're doing a solo playthrough of Circadians First Light. This is another game that was very much suggested to me by other people that I had actually not heard of or that had passed me by, which is a shame because it's a Garphill game. It's distributed by Renegade Games in the US, but it's a Garphill game and has not gotten as much hype as like the West Kingdom series or the North Sea series. Circadians First Light is a die worker placement style game where you're using dice as your workers and the pips have meaning where you can place them. It's a fun game, you can score a lot of points, and it has a really good solo AI. So what are we waiting for? Let's take a look at Circadians First Light. Welcome down to the table, everyone. We're finishing up setting up our solo game of Circadians First Light. Today we're going to be the blue dice here and our AI opponent, which is the standard opponent. These are the player boards, and on the back of each player board is a different AI. So there's easy, hard. We're playing standard today because I win and lose against standard. And then under this one is insane. So maybe we'll come back and play a harder one in the future, but today we're going to play against the standard. I know everything looks really busy and is a little confusing at first, but we will walk through each of what these do. But let's finish setting up for the solo game. For the most part, it's pretty much the same as a regular game, except you only use one board, and these are randomized. These are our 3 alien species that we are doing negotiations with on the negotiation board. We do have an AI opponent. We need 3 dice for the AI opponent. It doesn't matter what side they're on, but you put them in the first 3 slots. We need to get the AI deck. This is going to determine what actions they do each turn. We'll just set that right there. We need their 3 technology tiles right here, upgrade tiles. We have the planet, and this is a dual side board. You just randomly pick a side. I put down the first one I saw, and we've seeded it with gems where there are little gem icons in the top corner of a hex, or water, and the water represents 3. You're supposed to put 3 water on there, but I've always found that a little fiddly, so I just put 1, and remember, if I grab water, that bonus is 3. You also want to notice when you set up that a lot of these tiles have a dual side on them that have a player count. You want to go with the one that has the 1 on it, which makes sense. We've randomized the garage tiles, we've randomized the laboratory tiles, and we need to finish setup with first grabbing some items. We started with 10 resources of water, 2 power, and 2 algae. We also have 3 worker dice, and we get 3 item cards to start off with randomly. Now, in a multiplayer game, you deal out 4 to each player, and each player will choose one and pass their hand to the next player until everybody has 3 cards. In a solo game, you deal out 5 cards, and we're going to end up with only 3 of those. So we'll discard 2. We're going to put that up there. We also need to get a random player power. Now, there are a ton of player powers in this game, and all of them Marco Polo style are very game breaking, very powerful. We want to get 2 random ones. So let's grab this one and maybe this one. One thing we won't need is the multiplayer screen. Now, this is a really nice screen. It goes around your board like so, and you're doing all of your actions behind here for the first part, and then you reveal them after you've done them in secret. Now, this is nice because it does have the player setup, it has the rounds of the game, and the in-game scoring information all on it. Very handy. But I'll put a copy of this on the screen as we go through the first turn. On Board Game Geek, someone has made this lovely single-player flowchart. I love it. So I'm going to be using that instead. So we look and we have our choice of Jacob or Sable. Gain 1 free upgrade from the foundry when activating dice at the laboratory. I always like that power. And you can move your harvester to an adjacent space at the end of your harvest phase. Actually, I think I'm going to take Sable. Such a hard choice. I think I'm going to take Sable. That's going to be our player power for this game. And we'll put this back and try to play with a different one in a later date. Now we look at our item cards. And we see that they have several things on them. First of all, we're either going to build or discover these cards. You're going to have the cost in resources, and there are 4 resources in this game. There is power, algae, water, and then gems. So gems are the hardest to get, then power, then algae, and then water is the easiest to get. All of these cards, if we discover or build them, are going to give us some sort of in-game victory point. And then they come in kind of 2 flavors. One is going to be kind of an in-game bonus. This says every time we go to the market, if we build this, the Drax pump, I don't know how to say that, is every time you go to the market, you gain an extra 5 water. And then the other type gives you victory points. So this is going to give you 1 extra victory point for every farm that you build, on top of the other points that you may score for your farms. So let's look at what we have. So the first synergy I see is if we build the algae cells or develop the algae cells, we will get a -2 cost to go into the laboratory. The laboratory costs 3 algae or 10 water to go there. We could go there for only 1 algae, which is a great discount. And then the Karavic gives us 1 point for every farm. That symbol is on the back. For every farm that is in our tableau when we're done. Ooh, so I think those 2 synergize well because you go to the laboratory to purchase a farm upgrade. So we'll keep those 2. And out of the other 3, whenever we get to the headquarters, we could draw 2 more item cards. Or we could gain 1 victory point for every 2 gems. Gems are the only resource that have a victory point value at the end of the game. You get 1 per gem that you have left over. But this will give you for 1 point for every 2 in addition to the 1 point for every single. So you're getting 1.5 points basically for each gem that you have if you build that. And then this market we already talked about. And I actually like the market card a little better. I think for the start of the game, if we can get that going, it's pretty cheap. That's pretty cheap. If we can do those early game, I think we'll be doing some good there. So we're going to discard the ID Badge and the Yeki, and both are great cards. The next thing we need to set up is the event deck. And you take these cards, and there's 1 card called End of Era. So you pull that card out, you put that down here, and then there are 8 rounds in the game. So this is going to be both an event deck that changes something each round, sometimes positive, sometimes negative, and it's also going to be our round timer. So we need 7 more cards. There's 2, 4, 6, and let's say 7. Let's double count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 with that final error card still on the bottom. We put everything else back without looking at them. We have our resources over to the side. We have extra worker dice over to the side. And we're ready to go. So we're going to leave our hand right here, I think. And then as we build them, we'll build them over here. So the turn structure is pretty easy in this. It feels like a lot at first. There's a lot going on. But once you get the flow down, it's pretty easy. First thing you do every turn is draw an event. So we draw the top card. It's green, so it's going to be something good. Time to move. Ignore all water and power costs when actioning dice at the control room. So actioning dice means when you put a dice from your garage onto a board and activate it. That's what they call it in this game. It's actioning. And the control room is this right here. This is a compass with 6 points on it. This is how you move your harvester here. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But we get to ignore all water costs. So we can go here for free. So we turn that over, and then if we look at the sheet, we roll and place our dice. So we roll our 3 workers and we get a 6, 4, and 3. And we have to place them either in our garage or on a farm down here. I think I want to place a 6 in a farm, a 3 right here, and a 4 right there. We'll talk about my thoughts behind it and choosing them after we get through a round where we just kind of make sure we get the mechanics down first. So the next thing we do is we look at the headquarters and look and see if there's any dice here. Those get to go first. We don't have any dice there, so we're going to skip that step now and we move to number 4, which is AI action. Now the AI takes all of their turns before we take ours. In a multiplayer game, if I was the starting player, I would place 1 die, then the next player would place their first, then the next player would place their first, all the way around until it gets back to me. Then I would place my second, all the way around. But in the solo game, the AI gets to go their whole turn first and foremost, and then we get to go. Now every turn, the AI is going to draw a minimum of 2 cards, unless they don't have 2 dice. But they should always have at least 2 dice. So they're going to draw 2 cards, and when we draw a card, the first thing we're going to look at is the pip value on the card. When we place dice, we always place from left to right. When the AI goes, they always place from right to left. So we're going to take the rightmost die and we're going to make that a 1 according to the card here. And then we'll place it down here in the first section because the first thing we need to do is move the harvester. So we look at the pip value, which we know is 1, and we move their harvester along this compass guide. So they're going to move northeast until they hit something. And in this case, it's going to be this spot right here that has a gem on it. Now the AI does not collect anything but gems. They only buy, take, and pay with gems. So we're going to place that there. And then they will look down their card and do the first action that they can afford to do or are able to do. So here they want to go to the Zakaro negotiation board. The Zakaro board is right here. This is, you pay resources, you go and you negotiate there. The pips represent a negotiation tactic or technique, but it costs. Now, like I said, they never gain energy, they never gain algae, but they do gain gems. So this column right here is the cost to go into that row. This is going to be the same cost for them all the way across. So you just look, they want to go here, so we look here, and instead of 4 energy, it costs them 2 gems. And this is 3, 4, and 5. So they want to go as high as they can, so they look and see how many gems they can afford to spend. Well, they only have 1 on their board. So they can't even get to the lowest spot on this negotiation track. So they're going to skip that step. The second step is go to the market. The market is up here, and it's where we trade goods. So they're going to place their 1 in the leftmost spot here, taking that up and taking that away from us. And it doesn't matter what the boards say, it matters what this says. This says gain 1 gem. So we're going to put 1 gem on their board. That's their first card. They're going to play a second card, and it also is a 1 pip value. Now we only move the harvester on the first card. So now they want to go to the Lyrian negotiation board. And now these are random. They're in the right column that they're supposed to be, but they have an ability on both sides, being a different character that you're negotiating with. And there's a special power. In this case, it is change 1 die on your research base to any value. They completely ignore that. Completely ignore that. So again, we're going to look. They can spend 2 gems now because they have it. So they're going to place their 1 in the first slot right here. So the next thing that's going to happen is we're going to check the number of pips here and look at this bottom section. This is probably my favorite mechanic in this game. Is the section of advancements, which is this first row, and setbacks down here. We'll talk about setbacks a little later, but advancements, we look, and the first unique number that's put down on any of these boards, this peg is taken out. So next time, if I put a 1 down there, it's not going to give me any advancement. This is a new technique or new strategy that the AI is using to negotiate with the aliens that if we try the same tactic, it's not new anymore. So what they do is they get an advancement. They don't actually get anything, they just take it away from us. So the advancements, they always go in the leftmost spot because as they go down, they're not as valuable. So if we go and we place, let's say, a 3 on the board, we would get to take the 3 and put it wherever we want to on the advancements. And the advancements are draw 2 item cards and keep them, get 1 gem, gain an extra worker, move your harvester 1 space in any direction you choose, gain a foundry upgrade or a garage upgrade, and gain a laboratory farm upgrade. So they've done their first card, they have completed their second card, and sometimes they might draw more than 2 cards, and that's fine, but right now they're only going to draw those 2. They do need to spend their 2 gems, however, for going right here. And that's their turn, they're done. So now we get to go. And the first thing that we do is we do our garages. And I think I wasn't going to do this early, but I think I will. I think I want to build the Garphill pump. So we're going to take that card. To build the card, we need to go to the depository, which is right here. So in a single player game, only in a 3-player and up game do you use this section, or a 3-player game, because this is a 1 to 3 side. So we're not going to be able to put any 2s here, only 3, 4, 5s, and 6. So we're going to take our 4. Now we do have an ability. Our first garage is already upgraded. That's why we have kind of a Avenger style jet over kind of a rover. We can bump this up to 5 if we want to. And actually I think we will. Let's bump this up to 5. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing, but I think we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll bump this up to 5 and we place it in one of these slots in the 5 column. And I think we're going to, actually, I think we're going to put it right here. This is a tough choice. Yeah, we're going to put it right here, and we are going to gain an extra worker for next turn. So that'll go in our storage down here. And we can build a card. So we're going to build the Garphill pump. It costs us 6 water, so this is going to go down to 4 water from 10. It's going to cost us 1 algae and 1 energy. And then we get 3 points at the end of the game, but now whenever we go to the market, we get a 5 water bonus. So we'll try to remember that. And the next thing I want to do is go to the control room. I was thinking about putting my die up here. That would give me a free movement of my harvester, because the further you get out from the center, the better your harvesting is on the planet. And so I'm going to take this 3. Now it's going to cost me 1 algae. So I will spend my second algae and go to the control room. It doesn't matter where I put it there. And remember, I can spend either 2 energy or 10 water, but we can ignore all water and power costs. So that's fantastic. We look at the compass and we get to move 1 spot. Unlike the AI who gets to move run the row, we get to move 1 spot in the direction we have of the pips. So 3 goes down here, and now we go from getting 1 of each to getting 3 water and 1 extra worker next turn. And that gem is on the one beside us. We are out of workers in our garage, so we finished the garage section. We're going to move down on that sheet to return dice for the AI. So we look and we can return this one, but again, this one's locked. So they have 2 dice. If they had brought back 3, 4, or 5 dice, they would get an income of gems. But since they only brought back a total of 2 when they finish, they are not going to get those. Now we can collect from the planet and our farm. I usually like to collect from the planet first. So 3 plus 2 water is going to give us 5, a total of 7. And then 1 extra worker for this next turn. And then here we have a choice of either water or power. Here we would have a choice of either water or algae. And we look down, we put a 6, so we're looking at this 6 chart. We can collect 8 water or 2 power. I think I'm going to collect 2 power. That's all that we can do during our collection phase. So now we look and we add dice. So we look at the highest point. If that was the only die they had, they would add 2. But since they have 2, it says add 1 worker. So they add 1 worker right there. We'll clean up their cards. And then we return our dice for the end of the round. So we're going to end up with 4 dice for next round. And we should have done this at the end of the harvest phase, which is after we've collected. So we can move this 1 spot. Let's move it down here and collect this gem. That means that now, next time, if we're on that spot, we can go up to 6 water and 4 algae. And that's it. That's a whole turn. We start back up at the draw event. The flow is really easy once you get in the hang of it. So let's just keep going. Let's draw the second event. Oh, another good event. Extra growth. All farms produce double their resources. That's perfect. That's perfect. We need to roll our dice and make our plans. We have a 6, a 1, a 2, and a 2. So I said that I would talk a little bit about my thinking when I am planning stuff. What I like about this game is that you can make a plan and you can make a backup plan, but you have to be able to pivot whenever it's your turn because the AI or other players can just take spots away from you and really mess up your string of plans. So with 1 gem, 7 water, and 3 energy, I definitely want to put something on a farm. I want to keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and put a 6 there, knowing that I'm going to get 6 water from here and I'll get 4 algae, so I may go for more power. The next thing I look for, well, I always look for this when I roll, is do I have a pair of anything? And the reason is because everything on here, you only put 1 dice, except for the laboratory. You have to put a pair. And if the AI doesn't take that spot, I would really like to go there. But I haven't built this yet. So I may want to go build this first. It costs 3 water. That's gonna, yeah, we don't have any algae though. So I would need to go to the market first. So maybe I don't do a laboratory this turn. But I think I have another idea. Maybe we'll wait on the laboratory this turn. Let's go, let's put a 2 here. Let's put a 1 here. And maybe I'll put a 2 down here. Let's see. So my plan right now is to go to the market with that 2. And I think I'm going to bank that 1 for next turn. I might go ahead and grab an extra die, but I don't want to. I want to build up resources this turn. I think we'll be okay. So that's my plan. Academy's my backup plan. Let's let the AI go, and they draw a 6. So we're going to make this a 6. And they're going to first move their harvester in the northwest direction. So they're going to go here and they're going to swoop up the water that's there. They don't do anything with it, they just take it away from us. That's fine, I'm kind of down here anyway. Then we look and they want to go to the depository, but they have no gems. So the next thing they're going to do is play another card by going to the foundry. So they're placing a 6 here, and that means we can't go to the foundry at all. So this does not count as their second card that they normally pull. This is in addition to that. So we're going to pull this card, and it is going to also be a 6. So now they want to go to the depository again, but they have no gems. They look and they want to go to the laboratory. So they're going to put their 6 up here, and now they've taken up that whole space. And that's what I mean. They only have to place 1 where we have to place 2. But they have taken both of those tiles away from us. Oh, it's so frustrating. So when they go to the laboratory, you'll see this symbol here with the arrow. That means that they're going to upgrade. And that means they're going to take, there's 1 star, 2 stars, and 3 stars. They're going to take their 1 star, whoops. They're going to take their 1 star and flip it over for 2 points. So that's 2 bonus points they get for their upgrade. And then they have uncovered a new ability. Whenever they return their dice, they get an extra gem. Even if they don't get any here, they're always going to get +1 gem. So then we draw their next card, and they want to do some negotiation. They don't have any gems. They want to go to the market. So they're going to use their last one. It's a 2 and take up the leftmost market spot, which stinks because that's the one I really wanted. Man, they're aggressive this turn. And they're going to get 2 gems from that. So they're actually going to get a few gems for next turn. Okay, that's their turn. They drew 2 cards and they drew an extra one off of this for going to the foundry. So I think I'm still going to go to the market. I'll bump this up to 3 from 2. So that goes there. And what this means is we can make a transaction. We can trade 2 algae for 3 water or 2 algae for 1 energy. We can trade 3 water for 2 algae or 3 water for 1 energy, or 1 energy for 2 algae or 1 energy for 3 waters. What the number of pips represent is how many transactions we are able to do. So I'm able to do up to 3 transactions. And remember, I get 5 water just for going there. So we're going to have 10 water. And I think I'm going to spend 3 of that to gain 2 algae. 1, 2. I think I'm going to spend 1 power to gain 2 algae. And I think I'm actually going to spend another power to gain 2 more algae. So that's going to be 4, 5, 6. So we'll leave 1 on the board and put 1 in the 5 slot. Our second one is going to cost us an algae. So we have 5 left. And I'm going to put it right here in the headquarters. Now what this does is it's going to save it for later. So we get to go before the AI with just this die next turn. What's cool is since we put it in the first slot, next turn we can flip it. So this can be a 6 if we want it to be. And we get to choose. We can either draw 2 cards, item cards, or gain 5 water. I'm going to gain 5 water, building up those resources. That's all of our garages. So the AI is going to return their dice. There's 1, 2, 3. And now they can gain gems. They gain 1 for having 3 workers and 1 because they've upgraded their area down here. So they have 4 gems to work with. That's pretty good. Now we can collect. We're going to collect 6 water. That's going to be another 10 in total. So 20 in total, sorry. From this, 6 and 4 algae, which is just 4 more down here. 3, 4. Now we get double resources because of this down here. So I think I'm going to take 4 power, which makes it 5 in total. That's really good. And then for this one, I can either take 4 water or 1 power, or I'm sorry, not power, 1 algae. Ooh. So I can take 8 water or 2 algae. I think I'm going to take 2 algae. I think I am. So there's 4, that means 6, which takes that up to 10. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. Alright, then they're going to add any dice, but they don't because they have 3. We pull all of our dice back, which are, whoops, that one stays. That one stays. That was not locked, but it stays there. It does not return. So we're only rolling 3 dice next turn. But we still get to place 4. And at the end of the harvest phase, we could have moved. Typically I do it at the end of the round. We're going to move it down 1. This is going to gain us 3 water. And next turn, if we're there, 6 water and 8 algae. Oh, that's fantastic. So 3 water means we're at 23 altogether. And that's why I like using these 5 and 10 cards, because especially water can add up really quickly. Going on to the next event. Oh, I knew a bad event was coming. Water tax. Headquarters, which is down here where we just went, does not reward water or item cards. So if I place a die in the headquarters next turn, I don't get this benefit. Alright, so we roll 2 3s and a 2. And one of the things I really like about this game as well is that sometimes higher dice is better. Sometimes lower dice can get you just as good as stuff. For instance, if I need to move in a certain direction, then the number low or high doesn't matter. They're of equal value here, depending on which way you need to go. Here, the lower the dice in the academy, the lower the cost in terms of value. The water's less valuable than the algae, which is less valuable than the power. So you can place a 1 to 3 here, a 4 and 5 here, and a 6 here. Here, the higher values, because you can only place 3 through 6. Here, it's typically, I don't do a ton of transactions, so usually 2 to 4 is about what I put here. Here, I like putting high values, 5s and 6s, because you subtract the value of the die from whichever space you're going. So you subtract it from 16 here or 6 here, which means if you put a 6, it's free, and that's how much water you pay to go in that section. And then here, depending on which tile you want, 1 and 2, or 3 and 4, or 5 and 6 determines which of those 3 tiles you get. And this is a pair. It doesn't matter whether it's high or low. And here, it just determines on what's available down here. Typically, lower numbers are better over here, typically. So I really like that about the game, that I feel like it's really balanced between rolling high and rolling low. So I definitely have a pair of 3s, so that could be a good option for going to the laboratory this turn. But I want to build that first. And that's going to cost me 3 water, 1 algae, and 1 energy. And I have all of that. So, I think I have a plan. I think I'm going to put, whoops, those are 3s. I'm going to put those both at 3s, and then I really wish that was higher. Obviously, higher is usually better down here in the farms. So maybe instead I go to the market. Yes, I think I do. Okay, so we'll see. That's going to be either the market or maybe the negotiation board. So the first thing that we do is a new thing. We've rolled in place. Now we do the HQ actions. This means that this die gets to go before the AI goes. Now one thing, whenever you place die, they have to be side by side. They have to be the next 2 actions because you place them at the same time on the laboratory board. So that means that I have to put these either here and here or here and here so that they can be placed at the same time. So the second die that you need to place needs to be the next actionable die, is how they say it. When you're in the headquarters, if this had been a 3, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, then I would need to put a 3 in the here, and I could pull both of these off before the AI goes. I don't have to wait. So that's really cool how that works. But it's not a 3, it's a 1. But we're going to flip it. We're going to use that ability and flip it to a 6. Then we're going to take this 6 and we're going to place it over here in the same row and gain another worker because we're losing that one. So we'll put that in our hold down here. And we get to build a card. So this is going to cost us 3 water, 5 algae. So we can move this from 10 to 5. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry. 3 water, 1 algae, and 1 power. So that's going to have to go down, and we have 4 of that now. 4 power, 1 algae, 1 water. We've now built the algae cells. It's only worth 2 points at the end, but it's going to give us a bonus off of laboratories, which we hope to go to very soon. Okay, so that's the headquarter phase. Now the AI gets to take their regular turn. So the first card they draw is going to be 4. They're going to move their harvester this direction as far as they can, and they hit the bottom of the board, so they stop. They want to go to the Gibraic board, and they want to spend as much as they can, and that means 4 of these. That means they're going to put a 4 down here on this. That also means they're going to take a 4 out of this, and that means no free lab and no free foundry. And they are really trying to take labs and foundries away from us, aren't they? And then we have, this one's going to be a 6. They want to negotiate. They have no gems to go to the Zakaro negotiation board. So they're going to go to the academy instead. They're going to place it right here on the 6, and they're going to gain 2 workers immediately. That's their second card. They didn't get a bonus card, so they're done with their turn. Okay, so we are going to go to the lab. It's going to cost us either 3 algae or 10 water. We're going to pay 10 water. and we get to pick any one of these 3 tiles. Now, unfortunately, these tiles, I don't want to look at the one underneath it, these tiles give you victory points. I say unfortunately, that's actually really good. But I really like my first one to be one of these. So I'm getting this one. This one is going to be +3 water. I don't have to put, there's no silhouette, so I don't have to put a die on it. The one underneath it is +2 algae. So I put it in my leftmost column, and you'll see there's victory points down here. At the end of the game, whatever the leftmost victory point number is that's uncovered, we get that many victory points. So if we can get all these built, we get 7. Plus, we have this bonus right here. Same thing with the garages up here. If we can build all of them, we get 8 victory points. And some of the garages have victory points on them, like this one right here. Now, I actually owe an algae for this, so that's 5, and then I'll pay this one. So that goes from 10 down to 7. And that's important because I was thinking maybe going over here, but the lowest in algae, there's 6, and then it jumps to 9. If we look at power, we could afford power at the lowest level, but I think we can do better than that. I think we go to the market. And we take this spot right here. We get to do 2 transactions. I also don't want to lose another die and be down a worker this turn. So we can trade on this one. We can trade 1 gem for 4 algae or 2 energy, 4 algae for 2 energy or 1 gem, and 2 energy for 4 algae or 1 gem. We actually have a gem. Now we went to the market. That means we get 5 water. And I don't think I paid an algae for this. If I did, I forgot. So remember, I get a -2 to the labs, but I still have to pay 1 or 10 water. So we're going to pay 1 algae. That's fine. We're going to get 8 this turn. So I think I'm going to trade a gem in for 2 power. That means that we're going to leave 1 on here and move that to 5. And then I can do another trade action. I think I'm going to do 4 algae, which brings that down to we only have 2 for another 2 power. So that's going to give us 8 power, and we could go there next turn. That's fantastic. But we also need to make this too. I mean, we have till the end of the game, but there are cards here that make you discard item cards. So I may want to think about drawing new item cards as well. Okay, the AI is going to return their dice. It's just this one. Yep. And they're going to get 2 gems from here and 1 from here. So now you see they're starting to build up on gems a little faster. We collect from the planets and from our farms. So we collect 6 plus 3 water from this. Even though we don't have a die on it, we still get that. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost 10. So that's going to be 5 and 4 down here. 3, 4, and we're going to get 8 algae. So with that, those 2 algae, that will give us 10 in total. Then we can move this if we want to, and I think we will. I think we're going to move this over 1. This is going to gain us 3 water that's stacked up there, and next turn, it's going to be plus 3 water and plus 10 algae. Now if we move down here, these tiles they flip at a certain point in the game, and they have victory points. These are randomly placed. They have victory points on the back side of them, and then if you end up on one of these at the end, you gain those victory points. But if we end our turn here, now we gain 1 gem, now because we can move from there to there, we gain 1 gem and 1 worker, which actually may not be bad, but I'm going to do this instead. So 3 water was what we got. So we're at 4 here. So we'll take 2 and make it a 5. And then we're at 25, 27 water. It's a lot of water. Now they add their dice, and they don't add any new ones. They're good at 4. We'll return our dice to our hold. And there we go. Moving on, flipping to the next card, we have new tech. Item cards made to be discarded to change your dice to any value. Oh, that's so good. Well, let's roll and see what we get. That's why you want to have extra item cards. We have 5, 4, 2, and 1. So I definitely would like to get this built soon, but I think I would rather draw more cards. Of course, I can put a die here and draw 2 cards. What's nice is these powers really just allow you to cheat the system, so I really don't have any reason to go to the control room, and I really don't have much of a reason to use this except to if I need to put another 6 there or something. So I could plan to put, say, this 1 in there. That wouldn't be bad. So maybe we'll put that there, and that'll be our second action. We don't have any doubles. Of course, I could make this... Ooh, I can make that a 4 and have a doubles there. And I really want to go over here, but I think I need to probably go to the foundry. And you know what? I don't mind putting a 1 at the foundry or 2. So we're going to put all of our dice up here this turn. That seems really risky. They is going to take their turn. They are going to go in the direction of a 6, which is northwest. So they're just going to slide 1 spot and take this water from us. They want to go onto the Lyrian board. They have 3, and this costs them 3 gems to go there. So they're going to take this 6, and they're going to put it in the second spot here, which means they're going to take this 6 and put it there. So now the benefits are not as good as they could have been. Now, one other thing that we need to look for as we start placing second and third die on these rows is, one, we look and see if there's any, you always look and see if there's any matches. So if the first time a matching number is played, so if that had been a 1 or a 4, then we would start doing the setbacks. Or if we add these up in this row, so, or this column, this is 6, 7, so if it had been equal to or greater than 8, all the way up, we start moving stuff. So if this had been a 4, for instance, we would move this one and put it here, just like we have been here. So this is, you lose those. So if I place a die here now, 6, 7, obviously it's going to be greater than 8, so I would have to take a peg and choose something to lose. Discard 2 cards, lose a worker, lose a gem, move my harvester 1 space back towards the center. We've already established that the further out you get, the better it gets. Or we actually could lose an upgrade. And of course we can't choose this if we don't have a garage upgrade. So that would be not very good. So this is starting to get out of reach for me. That was their first card. They spent their 3 gems. And now they're going to flip their second card. And it's a 3. They want to go to the depository. They have nothing to pay for it with. Now, why they keep wanting to go to the depository? Because they don't have any item cards to play. Well, 1, if they go to the depository, they get to draw a bonus card and do a bonus action. 2, if they end up with dice on here, they get something we don't. There's a scoring chart right here for this AI, and it's a little different for each AI. They actually get 1 point for every pip. Not every die, but every pip on this board on their dice. So if this were the case, they would get 11 points at the end of the game for that. And we would get nothing because those are not worth points to us. So that's a really cool way to make up and balance the game and make it harder. It's really, really a neat little system. So that's why a lot of these cards are going to have the depository on the top. But they can't go there because they just blew through all their gems to go here. So they're going to look and go to the academy. They are looking at a 3, so they're going to put it in the cheapest spot. And they're going to gain 2 more workers, which means they're going to be up to 5 next turn. It's our turn. We're going to bump this down to a 4. 4, 4. We're going to take the 2 4s and put them here, spending 1 algae because of our discount. So we're going to need to spend 2, 4, 5 in all. So we're just going to go ahead and move that down to 5 and pay for everything. Now we're going to get this +2 algae. Now the one underneath is really good. You can put a die there and gain 2 workers. That's a really powerful one to me. I think we're going to stick with the headquarters here, and we're going to gain 5 water for that. So we're at like 32 water. And now seeing how much water I'm at, I know that I can build this next turn. So maybe I don't want to get 5 water. Maybe I want to get, I think I'm going to actually draw 2 item cards instead. So we're going to draw Uxalotl. Ooh, 1 for every 4 algae we have. And this is ignore all setbacks. Oh, that would be nice too right now, because that would mean we would ignore anything there. Oh, that would be fantastic. But this one's going to pay off more right now. So I really could pay 8 energy here. Now, rearranging the upgrade tiles, that's not going to do me much good, but I feel good with kind of our income of resources, and our ability to move resources around is going to be very helpful. I really feel like I need to build another one of these and start getting points from this. So let's do that. Let's do that. I've talked myself out of possibly 8 points. But if I put a 2 there, that would be unique. So I could get another worker for next turn. Let's do it. Let's take a chance. We're going to go here. 2 is unique. We don't have to add anything up. We're going to gain another worker for next turn. That's going to give us, keep our total of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, that one won't come back. And it's going to cost us all 8 energy. But we have 8 points. 8 points. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's all our garages. They return their dice. So this one comes back. 5 dice for them. That means they get 4 gems. So already they are able, if they pull another green, they're able to go here. I've blocked this one, that's right. And then we can collect from the planet, which is 3 water. So this is going to be another 5. And then we get 10 algae. So we have no energy right here, but we have plenty of algae to trade for it and plenty of water. We're going to get 3 more water from here. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 2 more algae. Fantastic. Now we return all of our die sets, and that's going to be the 3 we roll, and then we have that one. Okay, next turn. Yeah. Okay, so outbreak. All farms produce half their resources. Half their resources. That is horrible. It's only the farms, it's not the planet. Now I could have moved this at the end. Do I want to? Yeah, maybe. I actually kind of like where I am. Let's move it up 1 and gain a gem. Let's do that. That would be beneficial. Now we don't get any water, but we get 8 algae. 3 turns left after this one, so I want to keep near. Now I don't know what the value is going to be, but I want to be somewhere in between 2 so that I can kind of move fast for those. We needed to clear these up. And then we roll our dice. 5, 5, 2. So we get to do this one first. We can flip it to a 6. We need to plan these out. I'm sorry, I forgot to do that. So I have 2 5s. I really need to go get a laboratory. And I probably need to go get a forge. You know what? I actually think I was going to go here to the depository, but I think I'm actually going to go over here first and foremost. I'm going to place a 6 in that first, and like I said, it is that number minus 16 because we're in that spot. It would be 6 here, but 16. So we owe 10 water. We'll just take 1 off of there, not a problem. And we're basically exchanging that for 2 more gems. That's my headquarters phase, so now the AI gets to go. They're going to move their harvester in this direction, so all the way to the end of the board, blocking that 12 that I was eyeing so nicely. They want to go to the depository, and this is a 3, so they're going to place it in the topmost spot there and pay 1 gem as per on the card. That means they just banked 3 points and they get an extra card action. So they're going to make, that one's already a 3. They want to go to as high as they can on the Juraic board. I usually stack these up to remember that that's a bonus action. So they're going to spend all 3 of these. Pretty decent turn. Put a 3 here, which means this gets moved here, and 4, 5, 6, 7, so it doesn't trigger any setbacks. Now, they don't have to pay the setbacks. They just trigger them, taking away the cheaper options from us and the lower options. And again, when I do that, that doesn't mean that the harvester moves. The harvester only moves once each turn. Second card is going to be, this is a 5, it already is. They want to go here, they have no gems, so they are going to upgrade again. Put a 5 on the foundry, which, oh, that stinks so bad. It's like they knew, they heard my plans. They're going to take this, gain 2 more points, and now they're going to gain an extra worker at the end of each turn. Just like the gem, even if they wouldn't gain a worker, which this turn they wouldn't, they're still going to. Okay, it's our turn, and I think I'm going to, let's see, we're going to owe 3 here. So that's 1, 2, 3. So we'll just make this 4 down here. Go ahead and pay all of this off. And I think we're still going to go here. It's only going to cost 1 algae. And we're going to take this lovely 3 VP. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this lovely 3 VP right here. And we have filled up our laboratory. So they're all going to be worth more points. However, that doesn't mean we can't purchase any more. We can freely discard any one of these and change it out for a new one. So if we wanted to get another 3 victory point one, we could. But we'll think about that in a future round. Now, unfortunately, I was highly considering when I placed there going here. But 4, 5, 6, 7, if I place a 2, 8, 9, it will cost me a setback. I have 2 resources I can get rid of and be okay with that. But I really was going to the foundry. That was kind of my first plan. So let's go to the market. Let's go to the market. Let's do some trading. I need some power. So I can trade 2 of these for 4 power. Yeah. 2 of these for 4 power. I think that's a good compromise. 1, 2, 3, 4. And as always, when I go to the market, I gain 5 water. These are gone. I'm left with 1 gem. They're going to return their dice, and it's only that one. So they're going to gain 2 gems. And then we collect, we're going to get 8 plus 2 is another 10 for algae. No water from here. We didn't put any dice here. We get half the resources, and it says rounded up. So we get 2 water and 1 algae. So this is going to make this a 5, which makes this a 10. So that all comes off. So we're at 30 water, 22 algae, and 4 power. That's a pretty good place to sit, to be honest. I may need to go to the academy next turn. Okay, they're going to gain any dice. They don't gain any from here, but they do gain 1 from here. Now they are limited, as we are. You're always limited to 5 dice. You can't have more than 5 workers out. But you do have a fixed limit of how many you can recruit through the whole of the game. So they have 4 left. We have, we're not going to get there, but they might. So that's something that may work in our benefit late game if they are aggressively recruiting. We return our dice, all 4 of these. We move along and draw the next card. Oh, something good. Okay. Gain 2 item cards when actioning dice at the market. Oh man, that would have been great last turn. The market's very valuable for us. 2 item cards and 5 water, plus whatever we do over there. Man, that's pretty good. I'm going to take a red chip and put it on the market just so I remember. I usually do mark things with these because I'll start planning and forget about them. So we need to roll the dice. We have 2 more turns. 2 more turns. 3, 3, 2, 5. Woo! Okay, I really want to go to the foundry. So if I get blocked out of the foundry this turn, then I definitely want to go to the headquarters to be able to go first next turn. In fact, I'm not going to be able to load up on Foundry cards. Very rarely do I not get to build these all up. So I'm sitting on all of these resources, and that's great, but this is the only one that's worth any points at the end. This one red gem. So I need to start spending these as quickly as possible. So I think we need to put a 5 or 6 over here so we can bump that up. I'm not going to go to the lab this time, but I'm going to plan to go to the foundry with that 2. And if that gets blocked, then I'll go to the headquarters. I think I'm going to go to the depository. Go ahead and build that. So that's done. Let's go ahead and put some stuff on that 1. 4. So that's going to go down. And we have 4 on that. 5 algae, so that'll go down, and we just won't put that on there. And then 1 power, we'll put that on there. So we paid for everything. And a 3 would be good because then I can still get an extra worker. And then I think I'm going to go to the market and set myself up to do something here next turn. One of those 2. We'll see. We'll see how that works out. Transfer some stuff around. Okay. So that's my plan, and that's going to cost me 2, 4, 5 5 algae. So we're just going to set that down here. That's paying for all of that. The AI is going to go, and if their deck ever runs out, then they just shuffle and start again. They're going to move their harvester towards 2, which is where I need to go. So they can keep going past me, and they go to the end of the board. Now, if they get to move 2 again, there's an arrow. They wrap around. So this is not a flat planet. It does wrap around. And they want to go here, and they have 2. So they're putting a 2 here. Now, this is the first non-unique. So they're going to take this one and put it right there. It's the first time we've repeated a number. And 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they are also going to do that. But they netted themselves 5 points and took 2 cheap things away from us. Then they're going to flip another card. They want to go to the negotiation board again. Sorry, they spent these 2, so they can't do that. They're going to go to the market, and they're going to gain 3 gems. So they're going to have a good amount of gems for that last turn. They're going to put this with a 3 right here, and that's where I really wanted to go. Either way, I've changed my mind. I'm going to go here. That's going to cost us 10 water. It's going to gain us 2 gems. So that may change some things. So now I might be able to... I might be able to build this one. But that one's worth more points. And that will make our algae worth something. And I forgot to move this at the end of the last harvest, didn't I? So I'm going to move it... we're going to move it down here. I think I'm still going to send this one to the market. And I'm going to do 2 transactions, which is going to be 3, 6 water. So we'll take this 10, spend 6. So that's going to be 4 left over. And I'm going to gain 2 energy, which brings this up to a lovely 5. Now we've already paid for these. We're going to... Actually, let me take that back. I'm going to take that back because I'm going to move it here because I want to flip it for a 5. So we're going to do this. That gives us another transaction, so we can pay 3 more water for another power. I then want to go to the foundry. This is going to cost either 2 power or 10 water. I don't have the 10 water. We're going to go here instead. This is what I wanted to do. We're going to build this. We're not going to put this off just in case something happens. So all of that goes towards building this. It's going to get us 7 points in the end and make our labs a little more valuable. So that's what I did. That's my turn. That's the garages. They return their dice. It's just that one. Yeah. It's just that one. So they're going to gain 2 gems. So now they're at 5, which is a nice place for them to be, because they can do anything on this board for 5. And they can also do the depository a couple times for 5. So that's, yeah, they're in a really 5 is all they need, to be honest. All right, we're going to collect 12 algae, so that is another 10. 2 more right there, and then we're going to collect 3 water. So not as much water. 3, so we're at 9 water, and then 2 more algae, which just leaves 1 on the board and makes that a 5. And we can bring back our dice. 1, 2. That one's there, and that one's stuck. So we're down. I should have taken that. Should have taken that. I'm going to gain, I forgot to gain some water here. And I forgot to gain water when I went to the market. Oh, I didn't go to the market. Yeah, I did. I went to the market, so I forgot to gain another 5 water, so we're going to make that 10. And then when I went to the market, I should have grabbed 2 cards, and that could have made all the difference in the world. So we have -5 when going to the foundry. That wouldn't be bad, but we're looking at in-game. So we have the Draic Armor. So this is an ongoing. Every time we place a die here, which is a little late for this, we gain an extra worker. But it's still worth 5 points. And it's not that expensive, relatively speaking. They add 1 die to their group. We go to the next to last round. We have Spring Clean. Okay, we're not having so many bad events. This is good. The laboratory only requires 1 die and all foundry costs may be ignored. Oh, excellent. That is excellent. We're only rolling 2 dice. That's not excellent. We get a 2 and a 3. I want a 3 and a 2. I can take this off, and we could have moved this at the end of this last turn. I think we're going to keep it on 12, just because that gives me points. Actually not. We'll move it. I'm trying to be greedy here, but I want to be able to automatically move it without having to use a die next turn. And I think we need to get this built this turn. So let's see. Let's allocate some stuff to here. 1, 5, and 2, which would mean 1, 2, 3. Let's just go ahead and allocate those resources there. This is only going to cost us 1 algae this turn, which leaves us with 4 left over. We can just use this one. We know that that is paid for. So did I not get a worker? I put a 3 up here. I should have gotten a worker. So yeah, I'm down. So I got another 1. Oh, that stinks. Okay, the first thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to send it over here. It's the first time we use a 5, so I can gain 2 items, and it costs me 15, so we're going to move one of those down to 5 and discard one of those. Okay, so we have 2 cards, and just see if we have anything really good for in-game scoring. No, nothing too extravagant. So we are going to, as our setback, because we're at 6, 11, 12. So we take this one. Oh, I can't discard cards. Oh, no. Oh, no. I think I'm going to have to get rid of a gem. You know what? I can move. I'll move back one. I'll move back one here. It's fine. It's not fine, but I can deal with that. Okay. Now I forgot. They took the good one away from me. All right. Well, that's 10 points. That's good. Okay. Then the AI takes their turn. They're going to move their harvester towards 4, which is back this way. Did I move them in the wrong? No, that's right. So they're just going to bounce back and forth there. And they set this to 4, and they want to go here as high as they can. They have 5 gems, which is right there. Told you, that's going to stink. 4, they don't have to worry about this, but 4, 5, 6, they don't have to worry about that. Wow. So my 10 measly points doesn't look so good anymore. So their second card is going to be a 5, and they want to go up here. They don't have any gems to spend, so they're going to go to the academy, and they're going to gain 2 workers. They have 1 left in the supply. Okay, I think I'm going to bump this down to 2. That's going to allow me to upgrade my garage. Remember, I can ignore all foundry costs, so that's not going to cost me anything, and it immediately takes place, which means that I can bump this up to a 4. Now I do need to pay 3 algae just to take care of these dice. Bumping that up to a 4 means I think I'm going to put it here and build this card. And that's going to gain me another worker for next turn. And we're building this. It's going to be worth 6 plus our algae at the end of the game. So what do I want to do with the last die? I think I have to put it here in the academy just to get another worker for next time. So that's going to cost me 10 water. I'm going to get 2 workers because that's 1, 2, 3, and that'll give us 5 for the last round. And that'll be pretty good. Okay, so they return their dice. It's just this 1, but that's going to give them 4 gems. Again, a nice place to be on the final turn. And then we can collect. We get 6 algae, so this goes to 10. We put another one here. We get 3 water, so we'll take 2 from here and put 1 on a 5. Okay, then we get 3 more water, which brings that up to 10. No scragglers there. Plus 2 algae. Let's put that there. That fell off, and that's all we get. And we bring our dice back. And they are not going to add any extra workers because they don't have any space. All right, final round. And we know what this card is because we saw it at the beginning. End of Era. Reveal all hidden gem caches. So we flip all of these over. We have and a 7 victory point. Okay, that's not bad. We're close to this one. We're going to have to move 3 spots. Oh, and I didn't move at the end of my turn. Where would I have moved to? I would have gone towards 8 algae. Sorry, I really would have because that is 2 victory points. So I'm actually going to have to devote a worker to moving in order to get there after the harvest next turn. Oh, that stinks. Okay. So they're going to move, but then they're going to try to stick to they're going to be to whatever one they're closer to is what the points that they get. We have a 6, a 5, a 1, a 1, and a 3. Okay, I need to put something over here. Definitely. Feel like I would like to get something here. So do I put all of them out? I think I do. 6, 5, 1, 1, 3. I don't know if that's the right order, but I like it. Because I really would like another upgrade. That's going to cost me 2 energy. That's fine. I might need to move. And I need a 5 to move, so that would be my move die. A 1 would be good for the foundry, but also I could get a lab upgrade here. So maybe I move this like this. 3 and put the 6 last. Because I can bump that down to a 2 to get this one with a victory point. One of the things I like about the solo game is I don't have to have it exactly planned out in order like I would the multiplayer game. Because I'm not taking my turn and then watching someone else take their turns. I can take them all at once if the space is available. So order doesn't matter quite as much in the solo game. Which is nice because I forget sometimes what I plan after I've run the AI. Not that it's hard, but my brain just, that's a lot going on. They're going to draw their first card. It's a 5. Oops, already on a 5. They want to spend 1. And of course, it's a high number card. So they're going to hit a 5 right here on the foundry. They're going to get another card. It's a 4. Also, they're going to move towards a 5. Sorry. They want to move that way. They can't. So it looks like they're staring down the 7. So what I do is I typically just, they get the closest one. Oh, I forgot to flip this one. Let's see what this one is. That's a 5. So they're kind of equidistant, so I'm just going to go ahead and put them on the 7. The next card is a 4. This is a bonus card. They want to go to the foundry again. I'm sorry, the depository again. And they're going to place it right there, and they are just racking up points left and right. Third one, they want to go to the depository again, this time with a 5. And there is a spot right here. And that costs them 1 more gem. Oh, that's painful. But that's it. That's their last turn. Now, if they had upgraded and uncovered this, they would actually get to play 3 cards each turn, plus any bonus cards. So that's their last turn. That's it. That's all she wrote. They're set in stone. I know I need to pay 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's going to be 5. It's going to leave 2 down here. We'll just make a mess. I'm going to go here with a 3. 2 of my transactions are going to be 6. So that's going to leave 4 water. But I get 5. So let's try that again. Hold on. That was a 10. I get 5 water. So it's going to be 4 still down here, but then 1 here. There we go. I get 5 water for going there. And I'm going to exchange that for a 2 energy. So that's going to bring this up to 6. Yeah, I think this is going to work out. I think this is going to work out. So that was 2. Actually, I could bump that up to a 4. So let's do that just in case. I have enough energy to go there. So I need to change anything I can into. So I can change 3. 2 more actions. So 3. And that's a 5. So 3 more would leave 2 into 4 total algae. So we'll take 1 away and put that on a 5, which makes that a total of 10. I'm going to spend this 5 right here. It's going to cost me, I don't have 10 water. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I don't want to spend 2 energy. Let's see. Let's take back 4 of these and get back 6 water. So we won't do those last 2 transactions. So back to 6 water. It's not enough though. I don't have 10. So what do I do? What do I do? No, we'll keep it. I think I'm just going to sacrifice those victory points. I think I'm going to sacrifice the 7 here. Instead, I can make this a 6. I forgot I have the bump up 2. And that means that... So instead, I think I'm going to... So I still had 2 trades here. Let's go... let's trade 2 algae, 4 algae for 6 water. So that'll bring this up to 5. And 1 more here. Because there's already 1. Okay, so I'm losing some points on algae, but I think it's going to be okay because I need that 10 water. This was a 5. I can bump it up. I don't have to. So I can move towards that 7 points. Let's do that. Let's move this 1 over. I want to put the 2 ones here. That's going to cost me 1 algae because we get the discount at the laboratory. And I'm going to grab this 3. And I'm going to willingly discard this and put the 3 there. So that's discarded. And I'm going to put this 6 right here. It's going to net me 6 points. It costs 6. And we look, I don't get anything here, but 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's equal to 12. We don't have to pay a setback. It is the second non-unique number though. So... we're going to lose, I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose this. It's 1 point difference. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have another 6 on the board. We're going to lose that. All right. We didn't build any more of these. We have 2 water left over. We have 10 of those. That's not bad. Because we still get to, the AI gets to return dice. There's none to return. They maximize theirs the last turn. So they collect gems. It's only 1. So that is an extra point that they're going to get. Then we can collect, because this can give us some benefits. 10 from here. 1 energy. That's not going to matter. And then we get 2 more from here. That's 1 more point. That's fantastic. 22. So an even number for some good points there. Then at the end of the harvest phase, we can move this over here. So we are on top of the 7 points as well. And then they would add dice, but they don't. And we return dice to our pool down here. And that's it. Now we score the game. All right, let's record this thing up. So I'm going to be using Garphill Games scoring app, which is a nice way to score. We're going to pick Circadians First Light. We're going to say yes to the solo variant. And we're going to say yes to the AI. I'll put this up on the screen. So we're going to scroll left to right, and we're going to choose Standard AI. Choose our starting character, or our special ability character. It's going to be Sable. Hit Continue. And then you'll notice that at the top up here, it has the category that we're going to score in. So first we start with Negotiation Board. So we'll start with ourselves because we have less points. 10, 18 plus 6 is 24. So 24, we'll just type that in. And then the AI has a ton more. Let's see, 9, 16, plus 5 is 21, 32, 37, 38, 39, 40. 40, ouch. 40, that's a good number of points. Now we hit continue to the next one, and notice that they're red. That means that they don't score items because remember they didn't collect items. So we can just get ours. We have 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 3 is 16, 17, 18. 18 there. Then we get 1 point per extra farm. So 1, 2, 3, 18, 19, 20, 21. And then for every 4, so that is 3 points. 24 is our total. 24. Okay, that feels good. Got a lot to make up. All right. If on a gem cache, then we get points. This is going to be a wash because both of us get 7 points for our harvester. Okay. Then we have the research base. They don't collect this. This is going to be our points here. And we have never gotten 0 points here. But because we had to lose 1, I mean, it was only 1 point. I'm not going to sweat over 1 point. But we get points here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we're going to gain 13 points, and they have none. Gems. They have 2 gems, so that's 2 points. And we have none, so that's 2 extra points that they get. Hopefully that won't make a big difference. Depository. So I've had some big blowout games where they've just put a ton here, but they concentrate a little more here. 5, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oops, let's just type that in. 17. And then progress tiles for the AI. They uncovered 2 of the 3. So they would have gotten 6 points, but they only got 4. I'm okay with that. And then we have, oh my goodness, 68 to 70. Oh man, 68 to 70. Can you believe that? Oh man. Oh, I'm grabbing my face right now in shock. That was close. So that 1 point, that did hurt us. I mean, we could have put that here for 7 points. I mean, that would have been smarter, but then we would have lost the 7 points with the harvester. So many little decisions, so many little points that add up. This really is a fun point salad game. Oh, I demand a rematch. I demand a rematch. But that was a solo play of Circadians First Light. Let's go back up top. And that was Circadians First Light. And man, I don't know how this one passed me by. I've been enjoying the mess out of this for a while now. It's just a fantastic, all-around good Euro game. And as you can see, I don't win every time I got beat. And it was so close. Oh, so close. I definitely demand a rematch. And I think this is a game that we'll show off again on the channel. Just a playthrough just to see if we can beat maybe even a harder AI and look at different paths to victory, because there's a lot of different strategies that you can employ in this game. And like I said in the playthrough, one of the things that I like, besides just the dice placement and the resource management and just the way the game plays, I really like on that negotiation board those advancements and setbacks. I mean, they're just so good. This idea of, when do I place this dice? You're pressing your luck a little bit. There's a race mechanic, and I'm a sucker for both of those. But there's a race mechanic and a press your luck element too. I want to get there and get the best things, but I also need to get there and not get the worst setbacks. So there's this kind of brinksmanship in the multiplayer game that does carry over to the solo game, and I really, really enjoy that. I also really like the way that resources are acquired in this game. I like the harvester moving on the planet and how you can adjust that kind of turn to turn to what you may need. And there's just a lot to think about. There's just a lot of different ways to approach this game, and I really appreciate this. This is one that I think is going to be in my collection for a long time, and I can't wait to do a rematch video for this. So what about you? Have you played Circadians First Light? Am I just late to the party? Is this a game that interests you? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if I made any errors, I apologize. Please note those with timestamps down below. Help me out. This was more of a casual playthrough. I wasn't attempting a full tutorial, but so that people can learn from my mistakes and not make the same mistakes, please do note those below. We are edging ever closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark, and I have a very special playthrough that has been requested several times by many of you that I think you'll enjoy planned for that. So if you enjoyed this content, think about hitting that like and smashing that subscribe. And while you're waiting on the next playthrough, why not check out another video on our channel? But until next time, thanks for watching and happy gaming.